Interwebs hello, DevCon here with a follow-up to a very old video that I made back in the day when City of Heroes was first a thing between 2004 and 2012. Well, I made a video explaining how I could be able to play using a gamepad instead of mouse and keyboard. Someone asked me on a web forum how I could do it, and well, I basically laid out a quick tutorial on how to do it. Gonna try to put like a link somewhere to point that out. However, in 2012, well, NCSoft decided to end City of Heroes. Thanks a bunch, guys. Still love you for that. And well, it's been 6.5 years that we've been without our favorite superhero MMO. Well, a month ago, we had news that, hey, a private server exists that allowed people to play. There was a huge outcry to release the code, and the code has been released. Now the homecoming servers are available. They've been for about a month now, and I've been playing since, well, it's not day one, but from very early, way back when. However, since then, my old gamepad, the one that I used in the first video, as basically, well, it's been broken for years. That has been replaced. I was using a Logitech controller instead, which basically operates in the same manner. That also has been really broken. The one that I got since then also broke. Well, I went through a lot of controllers. As I said, I do not enjoy playing with this or with this. So now the game is back. All my controllers are basically old Xbox One controllers, which are themselves broken, or my actual Xbox One controller that I'm using to this day. I could use it on my computer right there and be able to play City of Heroes with it. However, if I do that, if I pair this controller to my computer, then it's no longer paired to my console. So when I want to play something on my console, then I need to repair it to that console, and now it's no longer paired up to the computer. And if I want next time to play City of Heroes, I need to repair it, and so on and so forth. It's a big hassle. I don't want to have to go through this every time I want to switch games, so I had to find another solution. This is not it. And then I remembered, hey, I have another controller that I haven't used in quite some time. The Steam controller. The weird thing that Valve pushed. Very useful if you want to play some games using what they call big picture, but it's oddly shaped, but that's not really a factor. But it also requires some setting up. So I tried going into the game using menu options and key mapping, put back my old stuff. However, problem is, nothing is going on. The reason for that is because it does not operate like a regular controller. It's not like a USB device, so the computer will not recognize the fact that you are using a Steam controller instead of using a USB device. You absolutely have to use the Steam interface. So after some thought and after some filling, I actually found a way to do it. It is not working right now because I have used the City of Heroes launcher Tequila directly from my desktop, and therefore, well, you need to go through Steam for that to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click menu, I'm going to quit the desktop, exit now. There we go. Which should happen momentarily. Just going to set this aside for the moment. There we go. So I'm also going to shut Tequila off. And now we have a nice view of my Girl Genius background because I'm a big Girl Genius fanboy. But instead, what you need to do is you need absolutely to have Steam running. That's the first step. Just going to double click on that. And apparently it's giving me some error messages. I don't care about Steam Link. There we go. So first you need to have Steam running, and also you need to add your Tequila launcher to your library. So you would click Add Game, Add Non-Steam Game, and you browse. It's going to open up the window. Don't, completely ignore the Add Game because it will not put you at your right spot. When you have your Add Game, make sure that you actually browse to where you installed Tequila. You need to have a shortcut, not to Tequila, to the your shortcut on your desktop if you have one, but to the actual game. So what you do is you go add your Tequila, make sure it's the actual launcher, and when it is in your library, it's gonna appear like this. Turn on your controller. So that controller configuration, I'm just gonna move this right now. So that controller configuration is available. Click on that, and it's going to open up a window where you can actually now set up this so that it works. This is a crucial step for when you will want to turn your camera around. All right, there we go. You can basically leave everything as is. You don't really need to change anything. What you do need to change is, well, first you select from the configurations. Select gamepad with camera control. Leave everything as is. But, however, you absolutely must change the right D-pad. When you click on that, make sure that your click action is RS click. What that will do is whenever you push down on the D-pad, there's a button in there. It's going to it's going to act just like if you were to press down the analog button. Since you do not have two analog buttons on your Steam controller, this is going to act like your 12th button, the one in my old video that if I push down would trigger my sprint. However, that is not the only thing you need to do. You need to go to additional settings and have your touch binding to right mouse. So therefore, if you just start, not even need to press, but just put your finger on this, it's going to act as if you are doing a right mouse click, which is used to turn your camera around. Once that is done, you can just exit. You can put sensitivity the way you want, and this is something that you can experiment with. Just gonna exit, and then when you want to play, you have two choices. You can either open Steam library and click on Tequila, or if you want, you can just right click on Tequila and put yourself a nice little desktop shortcut. Just make sure that it is labeled differently than Tequila if you put a desktop shortcut there. Or basically do what I did, delete the shortcut that you had and use this one instead. So once that is done, I'm just going to click play. It is going to open up your Tequila just like if you had double clicked on a shortcut. And there it is. Let it patch if it needs patching. Make sure again you select Homecoming, because otherwise you will be stuck in another instance. And I'm gonna hit my little play button. Wait for the game to load, obviously. Make sure your controller is on, because otherwise it's not gonna work. There it is. So just gonna move that there. You thought there was a reason. There was a reason I put my camera there. I sort of want to hide some of the details. Of course, you will need to use your keyboard to type in your password. Select your server. Select your character. I'm going to select the exact same character that I used earlier, and also the very same one that I used way back when. Of course, I don't have that many powers. I'm still only level 22 on this one. It's gonna load up the game. Have your Steam controller ready, or not? It's your life. And the difference is, this time, everything will be working. So exactly the same as before. Go forwards, go backwards, strafe, strafe, and if I were to start touching the D-pad, it's gonna act exactly as if I were moving my camera. Same layout as before. So if I start looking for some trouble, which if I'm in Steel Canyon, the rooftops should have. Oh, okay, we got some skulls. Go hunt and kill skulls. Ah, missed saying that. I know it's actually Skull was getting beaten up by some Basilox, so let's save him by taking him out of his misery. It's basically exactly the same as before. I am using, like, say for instance, this button to target, this button right here to jump around. This button would be power 1, but right now it's not going to work because I don't have any enemies. Oh, here we go. So, it's kind of awkward trying to look at two screens, but anyways, this button would be flares. This button would be my Nemesis staff right now. And so on and so forth. Oh wait, that's a boss. I didn't one-shot him. Enhancement converter. You know, I started using those, but anyways. So just as before, you need. Just gonna finish this mob because it's kind of annoying to have all this over the sound of my voice. Isn't there another one? Yeah, there was another one. Alright, there we go. So just as before, again, this acts like your D-pad. So I would use this to change my trays up and down. Activate my powers 7 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change your trays just exactly as before. Target, jump. And that is exactly the exact same setup that I used to have on my own gamepad. The only difference is if I go to menu and look at my key binding, key mapping. Oops! Ah! Good thing I don't need that anymore right now. The only difference is you would only set up like your forward, your backwards, your strafe left, strafe right, but do not set up your turn left and turn right. That is the difference between my old setup and this one as far as key mapping is concerned, because this acts like a mouse and the right button. Same for look up and look down, which are not set, because that would basically screw everything up. Aside from that, of course, obviously use the exact same whatchamacallit, the exact same setup for the powers 1 to 10. I'm using two different screens right now, so it's kind of hard to look at where I should be looking. Why is nothing set there? Oh, okay. For some reason, it put it on the main key mapping instead of secondary one. Joypad up and joypad down to change my key map my which tray I'm using, target and map. Map joystick button 9, target which was up there, which would be this one right here. So everything is working exactly the way I want, and I've played for about 5 hours yesterday on my stupid video game stream show that I tend to do, using exclusively the stream controller the way I use my gamepad. Of course, just as before, you still have the exact same drawback that sometimes you actually do need to use your mouse. Like, say for instance, this is my Pirate Devices blaster, so if I were to push right on my D-pad, which is going to trigger the caltrops, well, I still need to drop them. So yes, I will be using the mouse to select where I want to drop them. Same if I wanted to open a door, let's look for one right now. Actually, let's go to university. There we go. So if I wanted to open this door, then yes, I do need to take the mouse, click, and enter. That is basically the only times that you will be needing a mouse. Well, that plus, like, say for instance, if you want to zoom in, zoom out, then yes, you will need to do that. But normally you only do that in some very rare circumstances. Same if you want to rotate your camera, like press down the mouse button and rotate from one side to the other the way you would want to. And of course, this leaves the keyboard to be perfectly free for any other type of use. So for instance, if right now I'm gonna bind, like, say for instance, I don't know, let's bind the W key. So bind W, emote, hold torch. So now, if I want to walk, of course, I need to use my Steam controller, but if I press W, which is right there, well, I'm no longer walking, but that is freed up. So, yep, that is basically the gist of it, and I will be using my Steam controller from now on to play the game, and not the mouse and keyboard, just like 99% of the population would. I'm the 1% that really do not enjoy playing with this. So then that is going to be it for the quick tutorial. Thank you for watching. DevCon signing out.